To jesteśmy Bournemouth University, to jest mój kolega Salvo, z którym się poznaliśmy w Turcji. I on tutaj pracuje. Kolega pracuje. Where do you exactly work? What?
Third floor.
Third floor.
Journalism, English and communication.
No i chodzimy i zwiedzamy. To jesteśmy u mojego kolegi Salvatore Scifo, którego poznałem w Turcji, jak byłem tam na stażu pomiędzy 2013 a 2014 rokiem i razem pracowaliśmy, razem siedzieliśmy w jednym pokoju i teraz od roku Salvo, tak jak lubi być nazywany, pracuje w Bournemouth University i wykłada dziennikarstwo, przede wszystkim dziennikarstwo radiowe.
Okay, full name, Salvatore Scifo, myself, I'm Italian, and I teach at I work at Bournemouth University since January 2016, so just about to have the first birthday. I'm a senior lecturer in communication and social media, and I'm part of the Faculty of Media and Communication. This faculty has got a few departments and schools. My school is called Journalism, English and Communication. We have a number of interesting things we do here. The university provides some other avenues to do work. For example, some of my students are working on projects. The students come up with a project, they search for an academic partner, a member of staff. If they win the fund, they get £500 for the project, and in a couple of days I will attend a award ceremony where one of my students got that one. That can be used for a dissertation or can be used for something out of a dissertation and any other project. The important thing is this co-creation, which can lead to a poster, to publication and whatever.
A teraz porozmawiamy trochę bardziej nieformalnie, ponieważ Salvo jest bardzo interesującą osobą. Okay, Salvo, so can you please tell me where were you born?
I was born in a town called Agrigento, which is in the southern region of Sicily in Italy. The one of the most southernmost point in Europe. But I was made in Berlin.
Made in Berlin?
Yes.
Why were you made in Berlin?
My parents were working there, and but they wanted me to be born in a place surrounded by the dozens of relatives we had over there. So although I still regret the fact that I cannot say I'm born in Berlin, which is a city I love very much, and I spent the first 6 years of my life.
6 years. So do you speak German as well?
Yeah, ich spreche Deutsch.
Okay, perfect. So what were your parents doing in Germany?
My father was working in the building industry, and my mother worked part-time in a number of companies, Siemens, Nordsee, Catering.
So the 6 years in Germany, and after that, how the story goes?
Well, after that, we are told to move back to Italy.
Okay.
As my father wanted to retire in Italy when he finished to work. Much to my disappointment, it was a bit traumatic for me. I didn't want to.
Yeah, you were a child, right?
I'm used. No, I was used to Berlin. Loved Berlin very much. I think I started to love Sicily right before I left Sicily again to go to the uni. But I did primary school until high school in close to my hometown.
Okay, and where did you study and what did you study?
In the university.
Yes.
The university decided to study communication sciences.
Oh.
When I was choosing something, I didn't want to do anything with mathematics for some reason. And of course you end up in the humanities area. And I saw something which seemed to be interesting for me. There were only 6 places in Italy you could apply for. It was a closed number, so you need to get a place in one of the unis. And I decided Siena because it was a smaller, much in terms of quality of life and less distractions. Although then once in Siena there were plenty of distractions, I'll say.
And you also had your own program, right, on the radio station?
Yeah, I signed up as a volunteer in 1999 to the Facoltà di Frequenza, the first university radio station in Italy ever. Then I applied for a job. I became deputy director of the station and worked there for a wonderful 3 years. I had a 5-year contract, but then I decided I wanted to do something different.
And what did
keep
you do?
moving. I spoke with the person who became later my supervisor for the PhD, Professor David Handy. Over a chat, I thought I wanted to move to the UK to do an MA in radio production or do something else. I didn't think I was PhD material, but he encouraged me very much. Interestingly, I applied in 2004, July 2004. Before that, I had applied for an internship at the BBC radio production.
Okay.
I couldn't believe I was asked to go to an interview. Was very, very as a young.
Yeah.
Well, not very much young at that point, 28-year-old.
But still working for BBC.
That I was asked to attend an interview, and I said, well, did I really like that, and then going to one of the buildings in central London, tell my name, and actually they tell me, yes, he is, BBC guest. It was so much. It was really interesting, which made me tour the radio production studios of 4 different channels, and I really admired the level of I don't know, professionalism in a way, because although I was there only for a day for a particular program, or only as an intern for 2 weeks, I was written in the credits of the program.
Very
and I
nice.
contrasted that with Italy and the same experience a friend of mine was having in Radio Uno, Rai, and where she was referred as the intern, not with the name. I found it really extraordinary, it's a very different ethic. And then my
After
PhD,
that, your PhD in what university?
University of Westminster.
Okay.
And interestingly, I received the confirmation of my the PhD offer in my topic, which is British Community Radio, on the same day that the legislation was passed in the Parliament on 19 July 2004. I thought that as a sign.
Very nice.
Very interesting.
So there was a PhD, and what did you do after the PhD?
During the PhD, actually, I applied for a job. There was a job in my called lecture in community media at London Metropolitan University. I was lucky enough to get it and work with one of the leading person in this country in an area, Peter Lewis. The job didn't end up as I wished, so the content itself. So I decided I need to finish this PhD. I then decided to move to Turkey.
To Turkey?
Yeah, to Istanbul.
It's a pretty far away from London, Turkey. Yeah, Berlin and Sicily.
Yeah, it's a mix. Although Berlin and Istanbul probably are much more linked, or Berlin and Turkey.
Yeah.
Much more linked than if I. So I will see some sort of circularity.
It is a kind of a.
For 7 years, I finished my PhD. Then, in the meantime, before finishing the PhD, I got a job at Marmara University. I worked at. It's one of the oldest in the city, about 150 years old. One of the largest, I think it's about 50,000 students. I worked as a visiting lecturer for a couple of years at the European Union Institute, so teaching students media policy within the context of European Union studies. After the PhD, I got my post as with a PhD as a doctor, as assistant professor at the Department of Public Relations Publicity in English at Maltepe University.
That's where we met.
That's where we met, and it was an interesting.
Yeah, it was really fun. I enjoy working in Italy. I mean, in Turkey, in Istanbul. In my experience, it was much different than it is in Poland. In Turkey, I remember every break, you socialize a lot. You go out for tea, and you go out to eat. There's a more of all the co-workers were closer to each other. I guess.
Well, it was, I guess, in the culture of Maltepe University, of the Faculty of Communication. Some more research intensive, some more competitive places. Also, building, I think, in a different way, much more individual. Some other universities. I did the postdoc, for example, Koç University. Staff would have more individual offices. Of course, they will go together to lunch. There's a lot of communal space, but will be a slightly different atmosphere. But yeah, that's a different thing. Tea consumption of tea and Turkish coffee is very high.
Yeah. So, how many years in Maltepe University?
3.5.
3.5. And since last year.
Since last year.
You work here in Bournemouth University.
Yeah.
Okay, and what do you make out of it? What do you think will be in the future? Where will you work? Because from right now we can see that you've been in many places. You can, like you said, you circle around. So what was the next step? Do you think you'll settle down here in Bournemouth University?
Whenever I say I'll settle down somewhere, something else happens. So I have to say, I'm very happy in this place. I didn't leave Malta University because I was unhappy. I had a wonderful relationship with all the colleagues, with senior members of staff, with executive members of the university. For personal and financial reasons, I needed to be in a place where, you know, like this one.
Change the scenery.
Change the scenery. Here, it's a very supportive place. Colleagues are really supportive between each other. It is a larger faculty. It's of course in a bit of a different context, much more kind of global inputs. Students, including the full-time students, are much more mixed body. It's a great place to work as well, like the previous one I worked at.
Sure.
I don't know what's going to happen next, and of course we do need to have a look. You know, the world seems to be really fluid nowadays. We are. United Kingdom will leave the European Union. We don't know the implications of that. And what's the outcome is going to be in the next couple of years. For the following couple of years, I think it could be safe to think everything will be going on. I will still work here. We need to see what happens. So we don't know the outcome and how this might impact student numbers here. And
how many students are studying here?
About 18,000.
18,000, yeah. So it's a big university.
Across 4 faculties.
Across 4 faculties, yeah. It's really nice. What about your research? What do you do your research in?
My research is on, as I British community radio, so the third sector of radio in this country. I worked on the origins and development of British community radio under New Labour, so that's my PhD. I've been publishing on that area. And you also have your own journal, right? You're the main editor of the journal. Yeah, well, it's a common effort. But I'm the editor of Interactions, Studies in Communication and Culture is published by Intellect.
So the link is below.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess. I guess this is it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Pozdrawiam widzów z Polski.
Jestem właśnie tutaj w Media Studies Bournemouth University i powiem wam, że u mnie też właśnie nie powinno być tak fajnie, jak tutaj jest na ścianach, że są plakaty i że jest tak bardziej przyjaźniej i miło. To należałoby ściągnąć. Poszliśmy z Salvo na Trainspotting 2 i naprawdę było tak surrealistycznie trochę, bo jak przyszliśmy, to nadal jestem w filmie i idę właśnie do swojego hotelu. Potęga filmów, potęga filmów. I co? Cały dzień. Dzisiaj gdzieś tam w drodze czas i spać. Ogólnie hotel jest taki, widzę, trochę starodawny, ale daje radę, odnowiony, świeży i czysty. Można i spać, można sobie zrobić herbatę, ale trzeba i spać, bo jutro czego się nie spodziewałem. Stonehenge. Ogólnie cały dzień jak najbardziej na plus. Salvo nie widziałem ile? 2 lata? Nie, w 2013 byłem w tej Turcji na stażu. Później w 2014 przyjechał do nas do Olsztyna na konferencję, którą robiliśmy i ze 2 lata, ze 2 lata minęło. Jak się nie widzieliśmy, dobrze było spotkać starego znajomego, posiedzieć, pogadać i dobrze się było zobaczyć. Nie wiem, czy też tak macie, ale ja mam jakichś tam różnych znajomych w różnych częściach świata, których nie widzę często, nie spotykam się z nimi, ale nadal utrzymuję kontakt, że tam wymieniamy maile od czasu do czasu, bardzo rzadko dzwonimy, czy jesteśmy znajomymi w mediach społecznościowych i to jest taka inna znajomość niż z takimi znajomymi, które się widuje tam raz na jakiś czas, którzy mieszkają w tym samym miejscu, w którym ty mieszkasz. Ci znajomi z daleka są takimi też bliskimi znajomymi, ale trochę takimi innymi. O innych rzeczach się z nimi rozmawia. Dobranoc.